Welcome everyone to Money Mondays. My name is Belinda Ray. I'm at GPCOG, the Director of Strategic Partnerships. I'm here with my colleague.
I'm Paul Johnson. I am the Director of Economic and Community Development here at GPCOG.
We're here with Money Mondays, everybody's favorite way to start their week. My favorite way to start my week. So we are going to share with you some opportunities for regional resources, and we're going to start today with Paul.
All right, thanks, Belinda. Woo! Hey, I'd like to take credit. I'm the guy that always updates the date on the top right-hand corner. So I just want to take, because my attention to detail is usually not one of my strong suits. So I'm super proud when I get to change the date. So July 21st. Today I'm going to quickly bring to light the STEP Financial Assistance Awards, and these are brought to you by Maine International Trade Center. You may have heard it called MITSI, but it is the Maine International Trade Center. And for you, those of you that don't know what Maine International Trade Center does, it essentially tries to help Maine businesses that export, right? So big, small, medium, in between. These guys are the technical assistant hub for any business in Maine that exports their product overseas or to a different country. And they also, I believe they also do quite a bit with the food industry as well. But with that being said, this program is the U.S. Small Business Administration's state trade expansion program. And the objective of this program is to encourage Maine companies to seek new international sales through financial support for costs associated with such export growth activities. So if you are someone and in your town you have a local company that sends stuff away overseas or to different countries, this is a grant that they could pursue, and the details of it pretty basic actually, because it's not a large grant. I believe it's $5,000 to $10,000, so that's the good news. Belinda, next slide. Essentially, they just have to be a Maine-based for-profit company and pay taxes in Maine, so no nonprofits are not eligible. And they have to manufacture at least 51% of their product here in Maine, and they have to be essentially export ready. So they can't be in like the infancy, they can't be in a complete startup phase. They just have to be export ready. And next slide, Belinda. There is the reason why I bring this up today is I believe they had some previous activity on this program last year, but there's a new window. So from now until October 31st, they're accepting new applications. And as you can see there, the award amounts are $5,000 to $10,000, which is small, but it means the process isn't very arduous if you do want to apply for funding. I didn't put it in here, but there is a 25% match. Again, match-wise, that's also pretty small. So if it's a $10,000 grant, the company just has to put $2,500 of their own money into the activity. And I have there, that's not just a link to Maine International Trade Center's website. That's a link straight to the PDF all about the program. But low barrier to entry, not a ton of money. But if you have a local business that's looking for resources, it's a great way to get $5,000 to $10,000.
Excellent. Thank you, Paul. And today I am talking about a program called Community Heart and Soul. And they offer $10,000 seed grants to communities for resident-driven processes to start the Community Heart and Soul model. And they do this for small cities and towns. So we'll just define that. That is under 30,000. So sorry, Portland. But I also said, Portland, don't leave, because it's a good model. You could probably use the model even if you can't get the money. And there are exceptions. So they do make exceptions to this particular parameter of population. The other thing we want to look at in this description is this community heart and soul model. So what is it? Well, this is something that they have done across the country. I think they have over 150 community heart and soul communities at this point, and they have what they would call a proven 4-step process: imagine, connect, plan, and act. We can just talk a little bit about each of those. So the imagine is the first part. That's when they come in and you start forming your heart and soul teams to build awareness, to get people to know that you're going through this process, to develop a plan to reach everybody. Then you do the connecting, and you get people to come together and they start developing these heart and soul statements. And the statements reflect what they love most about their community and also kind of what they're hoping for the future of their community. Then you do the planning part of the process. And then finally, you act. So you get your heart and soul statements adopted by town and city councils and into comp plans and other plans. So this is something that actually dovetails really nicely with a comp plan or as you're preparing to pursue a comp plan. And they don't expect you to just kind of do this on your own. They don't just give you the process and tell you to do it. There's the $10,000 grant. You get access to the model. You get membership in their network, which is nationwide. So you can talk to all these other communities who have either gone through the process or are going through the process. And you also get access to these community heart and soul coaches. And in fact, they require that you work with a coach, and that coach does have to be paid. And so you can use part of your grant to help to pay for that. Benefits that people talk about are that this builds pride in your town, that it gets people more involved and more connected, volunteerism goes up, more people are interested in and committed to running for office, which is definitely something I think a lot of our cities and towns and across the nation are struggling with. Economic conditions improve, investment increases, so lots of benefits. And Gardner, Maine, participated in this. So here's a quote from Tom Harnett, who's a former mayor. He was also a state legislator here. And he says, if you really want to take an in-depth look at what matters to the members of your community and create a stronger, more cohesive community, heart and soul is the way to go. And then I heard recently from Patricia Hart, who is the current mayor of Gardner, and she's still talking about this process and how wonderful it was and what great change it has created in Gardner. So they definitely benefited. Their profile is online where you can see kind of what they felt their circumstances were before and after they did the heart and soul process and what their outcomes were. And there's other information as well. And then Bucksport also completed this process. There's an informational webinar online about the process, and Sue Lessard, who was the Bucksport town manager from 2015 until June 30th, she's in there talking about how it worked for Bucksport and kind of what condition Bucksport was in when they started and how that influenced the process. So there is also a map online where you can see where this has been done. Every teal state has had cities and towns do the program. And in Maine, these are the towns that have participated. So those folks would be great resources if you want to talk to them about whether or not it's been a helpful process. Eligibility, again, it's populations under 30,000, but communities outside that range are considered on a case-by-case basis. So I think if you felt this was important and you wanted to make a case, it's possible that you could also participate in this program. They want to make sure you have strong resident leadership. So there have to be at least 5 residents who are committed to helping lead and steer this process. They have to have a lead organization, and that can be your town. It can also be a nonprofit. If it is not the town, they are going to need support from the municipal governing body saying, yes, we're aware of this process and we're all going to participate. You need a fiscal sponsor, and that can be the same as your lead organization. And also you can't ever have received heart and soul funding. They only want new communities, not people who have started the process going for a second round of funding. So again, 10,000 to start up. It is a one-to-one match, and it has to be a cash match. But you do not need those funds secured at the time of your application, and you can even raise the funds during the process. And it's, if we skip to criteria, or I thought I put it here somewhere, it's expected to be, at the end, deadline, an 18 to 24 month process. So you can be raising that 10,000 throughout the process. It's not something you have to have at the beginning. Anticipated expenses are there for you, so you know that you will need to dedicate some funding to it beyond that $10,000 grant. They want you to be able to start it within 6 months of getting your funding. So you really need to be ready. You have to have that strong resident leadership, the strong commitment of the local government, and the ability to fundraise. This is a very easy application process. It's an online portal, walks you through the whole thing. There's a workbook that you can download and go through, also to figure out if this is a good process for you, but it will walk you through and help you formulate answers to all of the questions. And this is a rolling deadline. So every month, anything that is submitted by 11:59 p.m. on the last business day of the month is considered for the next month. So it's an easy one to get into. Uh, People have said it's a really good process. The mayor in Gardner really loved it. Got some pictures from their process. Um, and that link there will take you to more information about Gardner's process. So there's a lot of stuff here: grant guidelines, informational webinar, the workbook, the application questions. Um, yes, and you can contact the other main Heart and Soul communities. So there you go. That's what we have today. And as always, I would love to hear when people pursue anything that we recommend here. Be great to hear what your experiences are with the resources that we provide. That is all I have, Paul.
And that's all I have.
All right. Well, have a great week, everyone, and we will see you next week back here at Money Mondays.
Yay!
Bye. Two hands. Goodbye. Bye.